In early 2025, President Donald Trump reignited his ambition to acquire Greenland, declaring, "We will get Greenland one way or another." This time, the U.S. approach was more forceful, reviving Cold War-era military protocols and modernizing Arctic defenses, all under the guise of national security. The real motivation was Greenland's vast reserves of rare earth elements, critical for everything from electric vehicles to advanced weaponry. Senator Josh Hawley summed up the mood: "If we don't get it, Beijing will." The U.S. strategy, however, was seen as heavy-handed by both Greenland and Denmark, dismissing Greenlandic autonomy and aspirations. Instead of partnership, America's approach relied on pressure, creating a diplomatic vacuum. While Washington flexed its muscles, it failed to recognize Greenland's growing desire for self-determination and economic independence. Greenland's leaders were not passive; they sought partners who respected their sovereignty and would help develop resources sustainably. The U.S. zero-sum mindset overlooked this, setting the stage for a dramatic shift in Arctic alliances. As America doubled down on old power plays, other nations saw an opportunity to offer Greenland a new kind of partnership. The coming months would see a historic pivot, reshaping the balance of power in the Arctic. The world was about to witness a new era in Arctic geopolitics. While the U.S. made headlines, Canada and the EU quietly pursued a different strategy, one rooted in respect and partnership. They engaged Greenland as an equal, listening to its priorities and crafting proposals that aligned with its vision. The result, a landmark $3 billion critical minerals deal, offering investment, technology, and a commitment to Greenlandic autonomy. This was more than money. It was a promise of shared prosperity and environmental stewardship. The Arctic Green Transition Fund, backed by Canada, the EU, and Norway, further cemented this alliance, prioritizing local hiring and profit sharing. The fund's governance notably excluded the U.S., signaling a new coalition in the Arctic. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's insistence on mutual respect resonated in Nuuk, contrasting sharply with Washington's rhetoric. Canada and Europe offered Greenland a path to unlock its mineral wealth on its own terms, transforming it from a pawn into a key player in the green energy transition. The Canada-Greenland partnership quickly moved from talk to action. Greenland Resources Incorporated, with EU backing, secured a 30-year license for the Malmberg molybdenum mine, vital for Europe's green industries. The deal emphasized local hiring, environmental protection, and direct benefits for Greenlandic communities. Amarok Minerals revived the Lanark gold deposit, attracting investment from Denmark, Norway, and even some U.S. funds, showing the appeal of this collaborative model. These projects symbolized a new approach: partnership over exploitation, shared risk and reward. Canada and Europe's model empowered Greenland, offering a compelling alternative to U.S. pressure. The result: stable investment, sustainable development, and a new era of Arctic cooperation. The EU's involvement went beyond investment. It provided legal and diplomatic muscle. The Critical Raw Materials Act mandated that a quarter of the EU's key metals come from allied eco-friendly sources, making Greenland a perfect partner. French President Macron's visit to Nuuk, alongside Danish and Greenlandic leaders, sent a clear message: Greenland is not to be sold or taken. Denmark reinforced Greenland's autonomy, expanding local control over resources and investing in vital infrastructure. These moves strengthened Greenland's position as an empowered actor, not a dependent territory. The EU's legal framework, Macron's political backing, and Denmark's support formed a protective shield around Greenland. The message to Washington was clear: Arctic power would now be built on cooperation, not coercion. Europe had chosen its side, standing with a sovereign Greenland. The future of the Arctic would be decided by multilateral partnership and respect for self-determination. Greenland didn't wait for superpowers to dictate its fate. The Inatsisartut passed sweeping new laws for resource extraction, demanding environmental sustainability, profit sharing, and local employment. Projects now required rigorous environmental assessments and the use of best available technology. Revenue from mining would directly benefit Greenlandic communities, funding schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. Strict local hiring quotas aimed to build human capital and lasting prosperity. These laws attracted responsible partners and deterred exploiters, transforming Greenland from a passive prize to an assertive sovereign actor. The world took notice. Greenland was now setting the rules. Its vision for the future demanded and received global respect. Greenland became the epicenter of a global scramble for rare earths, vital for everything from EVs to missiles. China's near monopoly on these minerals gave it immense leverage, prompting the West to seek alternatives. The US, despite political friction, invested $120 million in Greenland's Tanbreeze rare earth project, aiming to break China's grip. The EU, meanwhile, added Greenlandic graphite to its critical materials list, integrating the island into its green industrial strategy. Greenland's resources became a linchpin for Western security and clean energy. The competition among the US, Europe, and China put Greenland in a position of unprecedented power. By leveraging this demand, Greenland secured the best terms for its development. The Arctic was now a central front in the new great game for critical minerals. The $3.1 billion Arctic Green Transition Fund became the symbol of a new Arctic order. Backed by Canada, the EU, and Norway, and pointedly excluding the US, the fund prioritized local benefits, sustainability, and profit sharing. Every project had to meet strict standards for local hiring and community reinvestment. This gave Greenland leverage to demand the highest environmental and social standards. The fund institutionalized the principles of partnership, turning promises into reality. Middle powers, acting together, created a counterweight to superpower influence. The fund offered a stable, attractive path for Arctic development, on Greenland's terms. The future of the region would be shaped by those who lived there, supported by partners who respected their sovereignty. Greenland's pivot transformed the Arctic's geopolitical landscape. The US and Russia's old dominance gave way to a new axis: Canada, the EU, and an empowered Greenland. Trump's aggressive tactics backfired, isolating the US and pushing Canada closer to Europe. Greenland leveraged global demand for its resources, securing sovereignty and prosperity. The new Arctic Order was built on collaboration, not confrontation. This model inspired other small nations and indigenous communities worldwide. As Arctic ice melts and new opportunities emerge, this cooperative approach will only grow in importance. The precedent is set. The future of the Arctic belongs to those who value partnership and respect. The 2025 decisions set the world on a new path for clean energy and industrial supply chains. The Greenland-Canada-EU alliance became the backbone of the global transition to electric vehicles and renewable energy. Stable supplies of rare earths, molybdenum, and graphite made ambitious climate goals achievable. These resources, developed under strict environmental standards, created a model for green mining. The episode proved the power of multilateral, values-based cooperation over unilateralism. New connections, like direct flights to Nuuk, will deepen these bonds. Greenland's bold move secured its future and gave the West a lifeline for sustainable growth. The Arctic's resources will build the future, but it was diplomacy and respect that paved the way.